Ryan Gosling turns a new leaf. YouTubers are now making big-time movies. Jordan Peele announces his new movie, and Sigourney Weaver goes back to space.
Oh, it's time for class.
There we go.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Tyler.
I'm Peter.
And Joseph is not.
What about Jack? You just cut Jack off.
I
said Jack off. Jesus. Say hi, Jack.
Okay, yeah,
So
let's turn my intro into that joke, huh?
So
Yeah, come on.
well, I was going to say no Joseph today, but we have our friend from down under, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Hello, I am the Australian representative.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's great
that's
to
it.
have you on, Jack.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
Also, welcome everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise, and of course the OG classmates listening in podcast land. Well, how is everyone? It's Mother's Day for you, Jack.
Yeah, Jack's in the future. Jack is in living on May 12th right now already.
I know we have a time traveler in our show.
Is your
Yes,
mom
yes.
mad that you're here with us?
Nah, we went to the movies the other day together. We're all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay, fair.
Well, that's good. How are you, Pete?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot.
It's been hot the last couple days, and I like it. I love it.
Why?
I love it.
Why?
I'm like a lizard on a rock.
I was gonna say you're cold blooded.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I would rather it be dry and hot than wet and cold.
Incorrect. Incorrect. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay, but
It's
incorrect.
okay to be. Yeah, you can have your own wrong opinion.
Yeah, weather. Joseph Navarro, who abandoned us today to do God knows what.
Yeah, I don't even know where he's at right now.
Antiquing, I think.
Antiquing.
No, we had to record late today because I had an engagement this morning. I had to be out of town.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. You know, Joseph was going to be out of town. So we have our pal Jack, who people might know if you recognize the voice.
I was stoked by that.
That's Jack.
Ugly sound. I hate it
That's
so
not
much.
an ugly sound. Stop being so hard on yourself.
It's great.
I never say stoked. I never say it. Why did I say it then?
Because you're Californian.
Yeah,
You're talking to a couple of Californians.
You're a Californian at heart.
Yeah, you're honorary.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Kelly, dude.
There we go.
There's a drop right there. Well, anyways, let's get into some movie news.
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
All right, movie news that we read about this week or that we may have discovered from the past. I don't know. I do that all the time.
Great intro.
Anyways.
Dynamite. It's been like 3 months since you hosted, isn't it?
Yes, it has.
How's it
I'm
feel?
trying to, well, you know, being in the captain's chair, you know, there's a lot of responsibility. And,
Are you up to the challenge? Is the question.
Well, I feel like I've been doing a great job right now.
A banter job.
Fantastic work, Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that patronizing compliment.
Yeah, it's the backhanded compliment.
Well, anyways, Pete, what do you got for this week?
Okay, so a couple things I wanted to address, a little bit of housekeeping. We have we get weekly stats posted into the show that tell us who's listening, how many people are listening. And every once in a while we'll get like a weird bump of numbers. And it's not like we just got hundreds of downloads to this last week's episode. We get 1 and 2 downloads for like the entire catalog. And it'll go back. And we have like a 400 backlog. We're on like episode 418 right now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I this last week when the stats came out, I was like, why is the number so high? I went back and looked, and there are 1 or 2 new listeners who downloaded 1 and 2 of
Everything.
all the old episodes. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, whoever you are, thank you. And if you came from the YouTube channel and you're not familiar with the show too much, drop us a line. The email is mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show. We're always curious where people come from because,
Right.
Jack, how did you find out about us?
Cinematics, I guess. The Cinematics Facebook group. That's how I
Oh
found
yeah,
out.
yeah, you're right.
And
You're
I
right.
started talking to you through comments and stuff, and then it all just
Yeah.
Now you're
built up
kick,
from
now
there.
now you're taking over
Yeah, just cascaded into
Yes.
you guest hosting now.
like a scourge of cane toads who've taken over this podcast.
and toads are not in Victoria, thank you.
Oh.
But my sister deals with them in Queensland.
They're still dealing with that shit.
Oh yeah. In her house, apparently.
Oh my god.
Like they actually, like, and she killed a couple like last week.
Oh, wow.
No joke.
Great Simpsons episode. Because
Yeah.
goes to Australia and then he introduces the cane toad.
No, she fucking hates cane toads, and
Really?
so whenever I like see a video or reel or whatever
Mm-hmm.
of frogs or toads or anything, always got to send it to her.
Nice. So my first topic is not from me. It's actually from Joseph
Don't
Navarro.
say, no, deny him of it because
No,
he
no, no,
abandoned
no.
us.
It's interesting, so we're going to say it. Peter Jackson is coming back to the Lord of the Rings franchise.
What?
Yeah. There's in 2026, there's supposed to be a new Lord of the Rings movie that is, he's not going to be directing, but he is going to be producing, and it's going to be directed by Andy Serkis.
Wow.
Who played
I didn't
Gollum.
know.
Oh,
I didn't know he had directing chops.
I think he's directed a couple of movies. I can't say for sure, but you
So
know
he's just gonna be like the supervisor on set.
who Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like that's his role.
I mean, he's a producer, and that's a very broad, job title
Right.
in that. But the movie's
yeah.
yeah,
Producer can mean anything.
you can literally just pay the bills and fuck off, or you can be there every day cracking skulls.
Yeah.
So the title of the movie is going to be called Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, and a little tag on the end of the story is that title, Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, was already a fan-made movie that was
Right.
out on YouTube and had something like 13 million views on it or some shit.
Yeah.
Very successful for the creator, and they made it from scratch. And they released it on YouTube, and they're getting money from this. And WB, Warner Brothers, copyright struck him,
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
and they took his video down. What do you think about that, Jack?
But they did it before the existence of the copyright, technically. Right?
Absolutely, they did.
So no, you can't
assholes.
retroactively call the copyright. That is total bullshit. This is the first I've heard of this. This is
the
crazy.
this is the company that hired David or whatever his name is, Zaslav, who's killing movies left and right for tax cut purposes.
Zaslav.
That
yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Ah,
I think the company was getting investigated by the federal government for a hot minute there because they were cutting so many movies.
I wouldn't be surprised
It,
at all.
it started with
is that the-
Batgirl.
Yeah, Batgirl, Scoob. What was the other one?
It was the Wile E. Coyote one.
That's it.
Oh yeah, Acme versus Coyote or
Yeah.
something like that.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, do you know the story about the hunt for Gollum?
No, there's no actual story from this. It's just literally just announced. So I mean, we won't know anything that. But as far as the movie on YouTube goes, I don't know. But Warner Brothers did retroactively restore it, and they said that was a mistake.
Well, so like the
So
origin,
good for them at least on that.
the origin of they did, and the origin for the hunt for Gollum is when Aragorn and Gandalf hunt for Gollum because he knows I believe he knows the existence of the One Ring, or that he had it. It was one of those two. I think it was like he knew the existence of it, and they wanted to get some information out of him, and then.
You're talking just about like from the book.
Yeah, I mean, they briefly mention it in the Fellowship of the Ring too, but
I'm into it. I'm excited about it, and I mean more Peter Jackson in at anyone's life is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
You're excited about so many movies that have literally no information about it from people you don't know about, and finally, don't you love Lord of the Rings?
I do. Of course, I'm gonna see
Yeah.
it. Of course, I'm gonna.
You
see
were
it.
excited that Lord of the Rings had an apostrophe or something in the
A
title
colon, a
recently.
colon.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
What? There's a colon in there.
That I was excited for.
So, anyways, that's not that's not anything specifically. That's all Joseph's information, and from this news story. So it's a donated pick. I'll briefly talk about what I actually wanted to talk about. This story comes from the Hollywood Reporter, and this is all about Ryan Gosling and the movies that he chooses to do. So Ryan Gosling says he does not take on any more, quote, dark roles. He has his family first.
What?
Yeah.
He has a family?
He has a family. Yeah. Eva Mendes.
I thought he was a bachelor.
No,
Wow.
Eva Mendes. They met on the set of Place Beyond the Pines, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. So, hey, Bruce is in the chat. Andrew Martin is in the chat. What's up, guys? Also, Joseph's in San Francisco fighting for his life.
Fighting for his life.
I don't know. I don't know what for.
Oh God.
So anyways, I'll continue with this story. Gosling says he takes a lot into consideration before choosing his next movie role. He recently opened up to Wall Street Journal about his decision to avoid taking on darker projects so that he can be more present with his family. And he says, I don't really take roles that are going to put me in some sort of weird dark place. This moment is what it's what I feel like I'm trying to read the room at home, and I feel like it's going to be the best for all of us. The decisions I make with them in mind. My wife, my kids, it was Ava, and we make them as a family with family first in mind. He says that in 2016's La La Land, which he starred in, obviously, was the first film he signed into with this different perspective in mind, having children. And he quotes, it was just sort of like, oh, this will be fun for them too. Because even though they're not coming to set, we're practicing piano every day, or we're dancing and we're singing. And Gosling explained that the roles he'd accepted in recent years were basically, he was kind of getting pigeonholed into like a dark place Beyond the Pines, Blue Valentine, things like that.
Drive.
Half Nelson, Drive. And he
Yeah,
says,
for sure.
so he says that the interest in Barbie and the disinterest in Ken was an inspiration. I thought that they were already making little movies about Barbies on iPads, and that happened. So the fact that I was going in off to work to make one too just felt like that we were aligned. So it's kind of an interesting topic, and putting a family first in a Hollywood scenario is interesting. It's different, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the guy who played Dahmer in that Netflix series, I think he said he had to go to like therapy to no, it wasn't that. There was some actor who had to go into therapy because like they got so into this like dark character, like they couldn't get out of it. I can't remember who it was, but it was someone.
That was Heath Ledger. He
There's
never
tons
came
of
out.
examples.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, anyone that played the Joker, I think, except maybe Jared Leto. He was just already.
He's already there. Yeah.
I mean, I think he was just playing himself at that point.
Yeah, cult leader type person. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And it's like in my head, I didn't make a specific. I didn't note a specific change in his film catalog or his discography or his filmography.
Right.
But when you think about it now, there was all those old darker movies and kind of more dramatic
Roles.
and then now it's The Fall Guy and Barbie and
Well, I mean, to
La La Land.
La La Land, yeah.
yeah. I can't think of anything else that he's done recently. Can you think of anything, Jack?
The Nice Guys, kind of.
Yeah,
That's
I-
violent,
I bet
but
that
it is
counts.
comedic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's really he's already successful, so I feel like he can just choose his roles now. Like he doesn't have to work for roles
Oh yeah.
unless he wants them. Like if he wants a role, yeah, he's gonna have to work for it. But like he's probably getting work offered to him left and right.
Imagine being a film producer or casting director and calling Ryan and saying, "Hey, we got this great role for you," and then he says, "Oh yeah, that's great. I'll take it." And they go, "Oh no. You need to come in and read for it."
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't. Yeah,
He's offer only at this point.
yeah. It's only offered. Yeah.
Other movies, let's see, Blade Runner 2049, First Man, Song to Song, The Gray Man, and
Yeah, the great man.
those are all his most recent movies.
I think Blade Runner 2020. You said 2049.
Hey, you got it.
2049. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Blade Runner.
Got it.
I think he probably didn't have to get like too much into a role of being dark because it's sci-fi. It wasn't that much of a dramatic role.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
I don't know. It's pretty angsty, isn't it? Like he is literally me in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. I mean, we'll see what the next fun feature that he does is, but I liked the idea, the visual of Ryan Gosling, Eva Mendes, their kids playing piano, singing, dancing at home, and it's like that sounds like a really warm household to grow up in as a child.
can you imagine Christmas Day with Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling and their family? Oh my God.
Yeah, the riches, the spilling out of the underneath that tree. So that's all I got.
All right, Jack, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I got a couple here, just quick little ones. First up, there's one from Deadline, which is about the YouTuber Chris Stuckman. If anyone is familiar with him, hopefully there's some crossover with the Film Class audience.
Yeah, he's like a huge YouTuber, right?
Oh, yeah, he's like the go-to when it comes to movie reviews on YouTube. So sort of a legacy there.
Yeah.
We got to unseat that throne.
Yeah. Get Jack,
Yes,
Jack
so
Fitzpatrick.
I'm trying. But basically, he's been working on a horror movie for the past couple years or something. It's been announced for a while, but it's releasing this year, I believe. It's called Shelby Oaks. And the news story regarding that this time is that Mike Flanagan is joining the team as a producer.
Wow.
This guy.
Mike Flanagan.
Chris Stuckman, top of the world, already crushing it in the YouTube game, and now he's got Mike Flanagan backing it for him.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's honestly a really, really big deal. Like, just being a YouTuber making a film is already big enough, but like, Mike Flanagan's a name, dude. Like, Mike, like I read Mike Flanagan's attached to something, I'm watching that day one. Like, I absolutely love everything that he does, and I don't know, it's just sort of inspiring watching a YouTuber get to these heights. To be honest,
it's crazy.
So, yeah.
It's crazy.
Are his? I'm not familiar with the name, but are his like viewers like in the millions or?
I think he's
Chris Stuckman.
Yeah, how many?
He's got like
subs?
2. I think he's got 2 million subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was able to, somewhat self-fund this movie himself.
I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he did it through.
If it took a couple of years, I'm sure he could have.
Pulled
it through.
The other one that I heard about, the other YouTuber that made a horror movie was Adam Ellis, but he was more of like not so much a YouTuber. He was a comic artist. He was the guy that had Adam Ellis comics or something like that. He's the famous one that did Lost. Okay. The meme web comic that's been memed to death at this point.
Oh, yeah.
He made Lost.
Right.
Yeah. And he made Dear David. He wrote in, I don't know if he directed it or not. Let's see here. No, directed by John McPhail, written by Adam Ellis. And this came out last year. The IMDb rating on it is at 3.9.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's probably bad.
I've heard bad things. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, anything else on Stuckman?
No, that's pretty much it for that one. But I do have a second story, another just quick one. This is Jordan Peele's new movie has been announced with a title and a brief description. So the title is officially Him, just Him, H-I-M. And it's going to star Marlon Wayans, and it's apparently about a football player of some kind, an American football player.
Oh, I was just going to ask. Thank you.
Not AFL, if you were wondering. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really that much info about it.
How are you with Jordan Peele? You a fan?
Me? Yeah, I love Get Out, and I even love Us. I think that they are perfect. I know Us is a little bit more controversial in that.
Yeah.
But when it came to Nope, I was pretty disappointed with Nope.
Really?
Because it was very obvious. I felt like it was very. I knew where it was going. You know,
picked it up a lot more than I did because I had no idea what's happening in that movie.
Look, what I will say is that Nope should have been about the monkey scene. The whole movie should have been the monkey. That was easily the best part. Yeah, but I definitely look forward to seeing everything that he does next. Like that hasn't gone away just because of Nope.
Is the monkey thing? Is this supposed to be like showing that you're not supposed to look the monkey in the eyes because that's how people look the monkey in the eyes and they rip their face and genitals off or something like that. And it's like
that's what chimps do. Like,
but you're not supposed to do that to the
gorillas.
Alien, right? In this,
I don't know. I've never seen it.
You're not supposed to look at the UFO or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it since it came out. I haven't rewatched it yet.
I like Jordan Peele as well. I think Get Out was probably my favorite out of all of the movies he's directed. Us,
that's fair.
Us was it. I I was on the fence. I think all the performances were well done, but the twist like just didn't do it for me. I couldn't suspend my disbelief. I couldn't suspend my disbelief of it like as much as I could with like something like Get Out. Get Out seemed well. No, I'm not going to even say it because Pete will mute me.
What?
But no, I'm not going to say it. I was
Is it is like True Detective?
Well, yeah, it's like
Fuck yourself. Come on, dude. Be better. We
is.
We had the throwback to episodes a couple weeks ago, and you've grown so far since then. Just kick the True Detective out of here.
All right. Fine.
Move on to your next obsession. I'm just glad you're off with Dave Damashek, to be honest.
Well, that never goes away.
That's just a shame that you've heading away from the
yeah,
show.
yeah, that's just a shame that I have to hide.
Oh,
There
God.
is Danzig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to Danzig?
Well, I kind of burned myself out on Danzig,
Oh,
so
wow.
like I'm putting it on the bookshelf in my head, and I'll blow off the dust here probably soon.
Tyler, I have some news to break to you.
All right,
I
go
listened
ahead.
to Danzig for the first time. I'd never heard of Danzig before your obsession.
Okay.
Man, that is dad music, dude. that is dad rock.
No, it's badass rock. That's what it is.
Are you sure?
Tyler, you're listening to dad rock now.
I guess so.
I've
I've reached the age.
Does it ever hurt your soul when you hear Linkin Park come on classic rock stations?
I've never heard Linkin Park on
yeah.
classic rock stations.
Green Day, Blink-182 occasionally.
Hey, I
Yeah.
like Green Day. That's a good band.
I know. It's like they're playing Dookie on
On the Eagle,
yeah, on-
96.9, the Eagle.
96.9, bringing Sacramento classic rock hits. Here comes Green Day.
I'm Tom Nakashima.
Yeah. Joe Bridges in the chat says Stuckman's at 2.
Regional humor.
2.04 million subscribers.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
All right, cool. You got anything else, Jack?
No, that was all for now.
All right.
Just 2 quick ones.
Now, on to me.
Ooh, onto me.
All over me. So this is coming from slashfilm.com. Sigourney Weaver in talks to join Star Wars movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, this story, it's in talks, so nothing's set in stone. But this story excited me in 2 ways. Because 1, I love The Mandalorian. Or I guess 3 or 4 ways. 1, I love The Mandalorian. 2, I didn't know they were making a movie about The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I didn't either, yeah.
And 3, Sigourney Weaver might show up in it. So that I just this story. This is just like a retelling of a story that broke through the Hollywood Reporter. Basically, I'm not gonna like read through like verbatim through the article, but I just wanted to talk about that and say there's no details about Weaver's role. They're still being kept under wraps, but what is confirmed is that they are making a movie about The Mandalorian, and I love the show, so we're getting it. I believe the 4th season might be the final season, and then they end it with the movie. And I am so excited for it. And I was meditating on what role she would play. Would she play a Jedi? Would she play a Mandalorian?
I think she'd be a good Sith Lord. Ooh. Yeah.
That would be out of left field.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd play just the, evil military type, right? That's the easy go-to. Suits her.
Yeah. I mean, she did that in, what was it?
Avatar?
Elysium.
Chappie and Avatar, but she wasn't a bad guy in Avatar.
Oh, no, not Avatar. No, you're
Was
right.
it not
you're right.
Elysium? I thought it was Elysium
Could have been.
too.
I thought that was Helen Hunt.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well,
Helen Hunt, Sigourney Weaver, all the same. Jodie Foster. I mean, who's counting anyways?
Yeah, I don't know. They're all very attractive women. But yeah, I also wanted to ask you guys, like, did you guys enjoy the Mandalorian show so far?
I watched the first 2 seasons and I liked everything I saw about it. I really liked that they gave Bill Burr a decent sized part and he crushed it.
Yeah, Bill Burr crushes every role.
I'm here
he's
for
in.
more Bill Burr in my life.
Yeah,
in
same.
any capacity.
Well, oh, wow.
Any. You hear me? You hear me, Bill?
What about you, Jack? Did you watch The Mandalorian?
I've seen like 3 episodes.
You didn't like it? Not your thing? The Star Wars,
you
not
know,
your thing?
Star Wars generally isn't really my thing. So
Why
yeah.
not?
So I'm no authority on this, you know, because I struggle with like, you know, space and magic and stuff.
He doesn't like Lord of the
Rings.
Rings either.
You don't like
I
Lord
don't
of
like
the Rings?
Dune.
No, he doesn't like Dune,
don't like
Lord of the
Dune.
Rings.
Yeah, I didn't like Dune either.
They shot Lord of the Rings down the street from his fucking house, and he doesn't even like it.
Wait, really?
That was New Zealand, dude.
Same shit. It's like California to Nevada.
Okay, so you don't like Star Wars. So you don't like fantasy. So I'm assuming you don't like
Yeah,
Star
fantasy.
Trek.
I've never seen Star Trek. No,
You never seen Next Gen? All right. Well,
I like Harry Potter. Harry Potter's an exception to the fantasy
you like
thing.
Harry Potter. You like? Okay, I'm just trying to get this straight. You like Harry Potter,
Yes,
You like magic with a stick, but not
But
if the
you
stick's
d-
not there.
but you don't like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
I guess
Right.
if there's lasers involved, it's like not anymore.
Oh.
Nah,
As soon as
get
the
out of
laser
here.
comes out.
So, yeah,
That's not even true. That's not even true because I like the MCU. I don't know. I'm weird, dude. I contradict myself left, right, and center. What do you want?
yeah, that's true. I do too. I understand.
Jack has a great Star Wars ranking episode where he ranks the 9.
Yeah,
I think it's more than 9, right? Because you also have Star Wars Rogue One in there too, right? And Solo.
I had Kenobi in there too. I think it was 11 or 12.
I think it
or
was
something.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember seething
What?
I have some
Of his
controversial
video?
takes.
of the list.
Oh, you watched his video?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you're a subscriber.
Well,
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, I think I'm a subscriber. I'm not sure. I'll have to. I'll check when I get back home. But and I will do if I'm not. Wow, I mean, like that's illuminating for myself. I didn't know that about you.
We're dealing with a sociopath over here. Don't like Star Wars.
But don't worry, Jack. I contradict myself all the time. It's just a matter. It's life.
Well, here's the thing,
We're
like-
complicated human beings.
The second that they took the original 3 Star Wars and added sequels and prequels and all that shit, it turned into something.
Turn it into a franchise.
It turned into some. Well, it was already a 3-movie like trilogy franchise, I suppose. And it's like it really turned into less, like, I feel like less pure, as pretentious as that sounds, you know.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah, but I like the sequels most.
Oh
Yeah,
my
well,
God.
fuck you. How about that?
Cut his camera.
Yeah,
Cut it off right
fair.
now.
We're cutting the mic.
All right, say it.
Oh, they shut the internet off on the other side of the world. Oops.
All right. Yeah. So that was an illuminating conversation. Let's get into some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do. Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks, movies that we watched last week. Pete, what do you have for us today?
Okay, what do I have for us today? Last thing I watched last week was Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
I went on I've been on a spree of old kung fu movies. Arrow Video released like a restoration of a lot of the old Shaw Brothers movies. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know much about them, but I like every time I'm on like a physical media binge, I'm looking for the next thing to, add to the collection, next deal or whatever. And I try to buy them on discount, so I'm kind of scrolling around, even if I'm not really in the market for anything specific on physical media. Mm-hmm. And I kept seeing this fucking box. It says Shawscope. And it was a huge box set with like a billion discs. You know what I'm talking about, Jack?
Yeah, I do. It's like pretty sought after.
Yeah, it's like a big thing. And I kept looking at it like, what is this? Should I buy this? I felt like Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. He's like, why don't I own this? But it was... it turns out the Shaw Brothers were like this really prolific directing duo or group. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 or whatever. And they made a lot of the classics of old kung fu movies in Hong Kong. And again, this may be 100% inaccurate, so listeners, feel free to check me on this. But Jason Kleberg from Force 5 podcast, he had the box set. I don't know if he got that set or another one, and then he got a supplementary set, and it had some of the same movies in there. So he put it up on the Facebook, and hey, I'm selling this at a discounted price. I swooped it up, and it was like 3 discs that had 4 movies each on it. And I'm working my way through all these old kung fu movies, and I have to say, the quality and the restoration from Arrow is fantastic.
Nice,
really good. The movies are not always the best, but man, it's like all of the tropes that you think of when you think of old kung fu movies come from these, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more. So I watched 1997's Executioners from Shaolin. Really, really fun movie. And these are all streaming on Arrow Video Service, so technically you can watch them streaming.
Yeah.
And I believe they're streaming in the restored 4K.
Arrow, of course. There's another streaming service we don't have here in Australia.
Yeah. I'm sure. I don't even know where. I couldn't tell you a single person that has Arrow streaming service, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I watched 1976 Challenge of the Masters, also in 1977's Executioners of Shaolin. And then what was the third one? I'm trying to find it here on my list. But they're very, very fun, kind of. They seem like low budget movies, but for the time, I think they were very well made and very kind of sought after. And the guy in Executioners from Shaolin, Joseph Bridges says you can get Arrow as an add-on to Amazon Prime for $8. That's a great deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like $8 a month.
Oh, maybe we do have
$8
that.
a month. So anyways,
maybe I just wasn't aware.
Yeah, you probably could, but so Executioners from Shaolin is it introduces the character of Pai Mei, who is later reintroduced in the Kill Bill series from Quentin Tarantino. Obviously,
okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the subtitles he calls him Bai Mei, Baimei, but in the IMDb credits, the actual credit says Pai Mei, and he is a fucking spitting image of Pai Mei from Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Long white hair, long white mustache.
Just the. And does he do the characterization?
Oh yes, oh yes, he does. He's stroking his beard and stroking his mustache.
I love it.
I always figured that was a reference to something. I just wasn't aware.
Yeah. So, and the interesting thing about it is this movie and also both of these movies I just mentioned, Challenge of the Masters and Executioners from Shaolin, they both feature the actor who plays Pai Mei in Kill Bill, but he's a young man in this.
Oh.
Yeah. His name is, let me see where he is. Oh, Gordon Liu Chiahui. Chiahui. Liu Chiahui. Yeah, I got it. Nailed it.
Get Tyler to read that.
No.
On IMDb, it's just Liu Chiahui, but on Letterboxd and some other places, I've heard him referred as Gordon. He takes on the American first name of Gordon.
Okay. So,
and he also, not only playing Pai Mei, he also plays the leader of the Crazy 88. He's the guy with the shaved head who fights the bride on the top of the banister. They're doing that great fight on top of the railing. So he is a young man in both of these movies. In one, he's the main character. In Executioners from Shaolin, he's only in the opening fight. And I'll tell you, these fight sequences are fucking bananas. Some of them are so-so and they're good enough. But then every once in a while, they'll have a fight sequence that has weapons involved. Long sticks and sort of knives on sticks and nunchucks and stuff like that. And you're they're not fucking around. This is this production value and the direction and the shot composition is not quite as impressive and cinematic as something like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but the skill of the fighters is damn near there.
Yeah, the choreography and stuff is really there.
Yeah, it's really good. So I mean, Crouching Tiger is unfair because the whole fucking movie is that there's 7 fantastic fight scenes in it that are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
In this, you might get 2 or 3 per movie.
Right.
But still absolutely worth watching. I put both of those as 3.5 stars, just because they're not the greatest movies in the world, but for the history of it and what you're getting, I think that absolutely it's worth your time.
All right.
Joel Shinman's in the chat.
Have you seen Enter the Dragon?
No, I have not seen any Bruce Lee movies.
That's a good one. That's one of the few I have seen.
Oh, cool. It's funny. Bruce Lee is brought up because I watched a movie from that Adam Murphy did on a streaming night, and it was a Bruce Lee ripoff. It was like Bruce PlayStation movie. It was after Bruce Lee that you and I know died.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they did basically had a bunch of Bruce Lee like knockoffs who came into the world, and his name is Bruce Lee, but it's L-E, not L-E-E.
Yeah.
So they can say starring Bruce Lee. And they give him the big dumb haircut that Bruce Lee had at some points in his career. And God, I don't think I even listed it because it's so bad.
Is it just the guy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, it's that guy. No, because these were back in like the 70s and 80s or whatever. They released back then. It was rough. Joel Shinneman says he wants to know if that's where all the Wu-Tang samples come from. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I would not doubt it.
A lot of great samples.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to more recent movies. Anyone But You, the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney joint. It's a rom-com. It got a lot of notoriety because it was very, very, very successful at the box office. And
there was some drama or something with the actors dating or not dating or something.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, I don't know celebrity drama. Don't ask me. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Tell us more, Jack. I don't know. This feels like a really bad movie that ended up winning me over near the end because half of the movie I'm like, this is so cheesy. This is so bad. The setups are bad. The dialogue is rough. There's a lot of cheesiness, and it's almost like it's not like a Lifetime movie, but it's like the brand of humor makes it really hard to root for this movie. Because and it's a bummer too because the guy that directed it also directed Easy A, which is absolutely fantastic movie in my opinion. He also did Peter Rabbit and Friends with Benefits. His name is Will Gluck.
Gluck.
Yeah, yeah, like Goofy Gluck. It's sitting in a 3.0 on Letterboxd. I think that's probably right. Some people are going to really love this.
Respectable.
Yeah, and some people are going to absolutely hate it. But I will say that the clunky dialogue between Powell and Sweeney throughout most of the movie is terrible, but there's enough laugh out loud moments to sustain like a casual viewer.
Yeah.
You're not going into a type of the movie like this to look for Oscar winning performances. But they are two very attractive people, and they are for most of the movie wearing very little. So there's your selling point. Go watch two hot people mince around in barely nothing.
Yeah.
And I think they're in Australia too, actually. I think that's where it takes place.
Yeah. The one thing I've heard about this movie is that one of the characters says dramatically, I know where they are. I know where they would have gone. It's like their place. And it turns out to be the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
Like the only fucking thing everybody knows about Australia. Like apparently that's very personal to the character or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It makes a little bit more sense than that, but not much. There's a point where like one of the characters talks about how he met his wife and he jumped off a moving train to meet her at the Eiffel Tower, I think it was. And
an idiot.
And he jumps off of a moving helicopter to meet her at the Sydney Opera House or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How romantic.
It was either the Opera House or the Vegemite Factory, one or the other. They were going to go to manufacturing processing facility.
Icons.
Yeah. So there's a pretty good supporting cast as well in this movie. There's an actor named Gata who plays in Dave, Little Dicky's TV series.
Yeah,
he's great. I love him. I've only seen him in just these two movies, and he's super good. And no, Andrew Martin, Sydney Sweeney cannot act. She's not a good actor.
Ooh, hot take.
No, she's not. No, I don't think she has it. But anyways, you could do a lot worse than this. I'm not going to run out and tell a bunch of people to go watch this movie, but your parents might like it. Your older sister might like it.
Excuse me, have you seen the scene from Euphoria where she says, I've never been happier or something? Excuse me.
I try to block out my time watching Euphoria because aren't all those kids supposed to be teenagers and she's topless for like half of the movie?
It's kind of strange.
I know she's not she's not underage.
No.
The actress,
It's
the character she's playing
it's
is
weird.
supposed to be 17.
I've never seen
is-
the show,
it is
so
weird.
You're like, get in that bathtub. So yeah. Anyway, so that's Anyone But You. Let's see, where is that streaming? It's I want to say Peacock. Let's see here. Maybe. No, it's on Netflix. Easily accessible. Next up, I watched Josie and the Pussycats. Also a recommendation from Kleberg from Force 5. His recent episode was top 5 fictional bands in movies. And he did not name Josie and the Pussycats as one of his list, but instead Du Jour, the boy band performing at the beginning of the movie, was on his top 5 list.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he got clever.
He pulled a bait and switch. But yeah, this is a ton of fun. Totally turn of the century time capsule. It's like absolutely, it's so funny. And it's very meta because they're talking about how corporate and capitalistic the music industry is and how terrible it is to have all these product placements and stuff while having those same product placements throughout the movie.
Oh, I see.
Like they're like, isn't this crazy? There's McDonald's logos and Target logos all over this room, but they had to get permission and get paid by those companies to put them in the movie.
Totally. Yeah.
It's really funny in that regard, but yeah, total social satire and some great songs. I think that Parker Posey, she's like the big bad in this, and she's like a proto Mugatu from Zoolander. Will what's his name? Will Ferrell's Mugatu. Yeah, and she's basically, and it's a very similar plot line to that. They're trying to brainwash these people to get people to buy more products. Where in Zoolander, they're trying to brainwash him to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why this movie has such low ratings. There's quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be considered a bad movie. It knows what it is, and it's I think a super fun movie. You can't stream that for free anywhere. I had to actually rent that one, but I wanted to talk about it because it's been on my watch list for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh,
Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Who
That's
else?
a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. This movie's fucking great. I don't know what makes this movie so fun and fantastic, but there are times when I was watching it and I'm like, this is could be my favorite movie of the year if I watched it, when the year it came out, 2022.
There's a scene in that movie where they both get high and they think they're being chased by bad guys, but nobody gives a fuck, but they're just freaking themselves out. And it's hilarious. It's so good.
That is a standout scene. That is so funny. They both take acid, and Nicolas Cage trying to drive a car on acid is so funny. It's very meta because obviously Nicolas Cage is playing himself.
Yeah.
So I thought that Pedro Pascal was playing himself, but no, he's playing basically a drug cartel leader, or what you're assuming to be a drug cartel leader. And he is so charismatic and so likable that you want to spend the entire movie just watching Pedro Pascal's character. I can't remember his name, but his character is geeking out over Nicolas Cage because he's a huge Nicolas Cage fan.
Yeah.
And he gets Nicolas Cage to come play his birthday party. And he's not a musician, so he doesn't have anything to play. He's just there to hang out and be cool and be Nicolas Cage. This is really, really fun. I think that you would probably dig this.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check it out.
It's streaming on the Roku channel for free. I think that's where I watched it at.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, it's not streaming anywhere else. You can rent it or whatever, but yeah, Roku underrated.
I might just rent it.
Just watch it on Roku. It's free.
I don't have the service
app.
the app is free?
Yeah,
okay.
the app's free.
All right, well, I'll download it.
Yeah.
If anybody's wondering, it's streaming on Netflix in Australia.
Dang.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I watched Mighty Joe Young on the Disney Channel. Brianna has been talking to me about it for years and how she says she cannot pass like a cattle car on the freeway still to this day without thinking that there's a gorilla inside.
That's like the Final Destination thing with the logs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boys.
She's like, I wonder if Joe's in there. And this is from, let's see, when was this released? 1998. This features Bill Paxton is Bill Paxton's kind of like the hero. Charlize Theron, Rade Zabergia, who's the guy who gets the coat in Batman Begins from Bruce Wayne. Careful, it's easy with that coat.
Right.
It was a nice coat. That guy. And a bunch of other people like David Paymer, you know him. Regina King's in this. She's pretty young in this. And this is a pretty good Disney sort of original movie. Like, I don't know if this would be something that I would recommend in 1998 for people to go see in theaters, but for kids, it's like, this is pretty fantastic.
I always thought it was like a Disney Channel movie. Like, I didn't know it was theatrically released.
I don't know if it is or not. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. It feels like it wouldn't necessarily need to be in a theater, for, for what it was. But the guy that directed it, Ron Underwood, he also directed Tremors and City Slickers. So he's got like an interesting sort of The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Oh my God.
Oh no. I'm surprised I didn't end his career.
I know. Maybe it did.
Oh yeah, maybe it
Ron Underwood. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I think people take it for granted that human beings don't want to kill wild animals. Like in the civilized world, not a third world scenario, you're like, yeah, it's probably bad to fish sharks to the edge of extinction.
It's probably
bad.
It's probably bad.
It's probably bad.
I think it's pretty bad that we're fishing something out of extinction. Extinction.
It's pretty bad to. Joe Bridges says there was 100% a theater movie. There was no streaming in 1988, but they did have the Disney Channel, Joe.
Yeah,
that's where I watched a lot of my crappy old Disney movies. But anyways, you're taking for granted that everybody just assumes that and knows that, and we're like, yeah, it's bad. That animal's going to go extinct. Let's not kill a bunch of them and then do nothing with their corpses. Before like the modern era, I think there were a lot of people that just didn't give two fucks about animals.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you think about the buffalo extinction back in the 1800s. There's that famous picture of a guy with like
standing on the mountain of skulls.
Yeah, a mountain of skulls.
I just mean in like the 1970s, 1980s, where people like, I'm going to take a really concerted effort to not poach animals. I don't think people really thought about that. It was just like, who cares? So the reason I'm bringing all that up is like, I feel like this probably brought a lot of great awareness to animal conservation, specifically for gorillas, because a gorilla's kind of a freaky animal. It's kind of scary. It's like people don't want to save sharks because they're mean. And
gorillas!
Oh no, a gorilla! So
I'm freaked out. Just from the mentioning gorillas.
It's not like saving a cute sloth or something like that. It's a big, scary fucking silverback gorilla. So
yeah, that's a good point. You don't think of them as like innocent little things that need saving or whatever.
They don't need saving. They just they're killing machines.
Right.
So in this, they really paint Joe Young, the monkey's named Joe Young. They paint him as in a very sympathetic light, and it's good. I know it's good. So I got a couple other ones too, but I really won't talk too much about them. The one that I will reiterate though is with all the chatter going on about Last Stop in Yuma County and how great that movie is. It's the new Jim Cummings starred movie, directed by Francis Galupi. I went back and rewatched Thunder Road, the original short that brought Jim Cummings into the zeitgeist of Hollywood. It's a 12-minute short. It's available on Vimeo for free. It won like 1 billion awards on the festival circuit and then basically catapulted Jim Cummings into more or less a household name for film enthusiasts. And I just forgot just how fucking fantastic, because it's a one-shot. It's a 12-minute uncut scene, and it is heartbreaking, and it is fucking hilarious. It is impressive. It is so cool, and I think that people should watch it. So I'm going to have a link to that in the show notes.
Oh, so okay.
I've seen it, but I didn't remember that it was in one take.
Yeah. And an interesting story about that too, because there's a really long uncut scene in the full-length version of Thunder Road, and they made it into a full-length feature, obviously. And near the end, where he's losing his mind, he's in his underwear outside of the police station. It's not 12 minutes, but it's pretty long. It's a pretty long take. He said that they had the same process for both of those oneers to practice them. He said, I'd get home from work, and I would go for a walk at this abandoned golf course, and it was a 12-minute thing. I could do 5 takes in an hour. I could practice it 5 times in an hour, and I'd walk around for 2 hours. I'd do 10 practice times a night, every night for 3 months.
Wow.
And after after I did, it's 300 a month. What is it? No, 300, 10 takes a night. Yeah, 300 a month times 3 months. He's almost did 1,000 run throughs of it, so that when it was on film, he knew it like the back of his hand. He could get through it, and it seemed natural and real.
Wow.
So it's just is the math sound.
Doing the math in my head, in my mouth.
I know. I do that too.
So watch Thunder Road, the short. That's what I'm telling everybody.
Right on. Cool. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Jack, what streaming picks do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so I'll go through a few. First up, I just want to say I've gone ape mad, ape crazy. Yeah, obviously with the release of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I wanted to go back, make sure I was up to date with the previous trilogy, the Matt Reeves trilogy, although he didn't actually direct the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
Pretend he did.
I thought you were going to say.
I always say I call the Matt Reeves trilogy.
I thought you were going to say I was going to go back to the Tim Burton movie and then go on to the trilogy.
No, I did
Tim
watch
Burton
the
movie.
Original, which I'll get to in a sec. But yeah, so I watched Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes. That's wrong, actually. Hang on. So it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but then it's War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
I kind of hate that change.
Yeah,
but
it's
anyway.
weird. The structure of the name.
Those are incredible. That's not a hot take to say.
No, I don't think it is.
I would say Dawn especially. I gave that a 5 on Letterboxd. Like these are all rewatches, by the way.
That's the one with Woody Harrelson, right?
No, that's the third one. That's War. Dawn is the one with the guy from Terminator and Oppenheimer. What's his name? Jason Clarke.
Oh yeah, Jason Clarke. Mm.
Yeah. Dawn is the one that's basically just like whether or not a war is going to break out between the two factions, and they want to keep peace. Some of them want to keep peace. Some of them want just war. There's good and bad on both sides. I really like the kind of, I don't know, sympathetic light that you get from both sides. Nobody's the bad guy. It's really clever.
Yeah.
Whereas the third one with Woody Harrelson is a bit more black and white. Just like, yeah, the humans are kind of the bad guys in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all like pretty incredible. That being said, I then went to watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in cinemas. Dude, that let me down, I gotta say. Like that does not hold as much weight emotionally or anything close to that trilogy, if you ask me. And it's kind of like illogical too. Like I'm not one to usually complain about like plot holes and stuff, but with this, I just question certain things. I'm like, really? They didn't think to do this in certain situations? Like there were just some contrivances like that kind of I didn't really buy. Pissed me off a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Did you think that the main girl was miscast?
Okay, so we talked about this briefly a little bit.
Yeah,
You said that she has iPhone face.
Yeah. She looks like she's in the modern era.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but it is technically set in the future, right? So
then why do the other caveman people look like that then?
That's a good point, actually.
I just feel
that
like
is a good point.
She's got the cheekbone structure of like a fucking supermodel. And then, spoiler alert, you see another human at the very, very, very end, like a minute from the very end. And even in the mask that she's wearing, she's got a fucking cheekbones like a model. I'm like, who is hiring these gorgeous women to play destitute future dwellers, you know?
Pretty people can exist in the apocalypse too, Pete.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the new one, the 2024 one. That's my least favorite of all the Apes movies that I've seen.
That's been kind of like the common thing I've been hearing.
I also went back to watch the original as well.
Oh, cool.
Which not as good as the trilogy, in my opinion, but way better than the new one. It's very dated. Like there's action scenes in there where it's like, yeah, that's very slow. It's like
old Star Trek where they're fighting like this.
Yeah, it's like
super
it's
slow.
not super impressive, but the makeup sort of is like there's prosthetic mask parts and there's like parts of the mask or whatever that's like missing. so it like really blends into the people's like faces, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And they're mostly just wearing like these nose things, really, and like head things. But it's pretty seamless. Like for the time, their eyes look very human, and I mean, not human, but realistic. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But I was really interested in the movie overall because it was all about like pretty much in this future. I mean, everybody knows what Planet of the Apes is about, right? Yeah. but in this future, it's like man is the one who is looked at as just a beast, and it's like it's kind of a clever way of making you look at like animals in more of a sympathetic light, being like it's not exactly animals' faults, I suppose, that they are
that they're
sort of
dumb
lower
and tasty.
on the chain. Yeah, that they're dumb and tasty, exactly. So in that way, I think it was really ahead of its time, I guess.
How'd you like the part where Charlton Heston says, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty apes," and then they all go. It's like iconic.
You know what? I reckon it was. I reckon he was cast absolutely perfectly because he looks intelligent. Like I believe everything that he says. If that makes any sense.
I love.
And so when he said that scene, that's like a shocking moment because that's the first time that he speaks in front of the apes, and they're like in disbelief about that. And it's like it really sells how heavy that moment is.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it feels like
cool,
a capital F film from that era. You know,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, and then what else did I watch?
Oh, where's that streaming?
Oh my god, I didn't look. I didn't look.
You go to the next one and I'll look it up for you.
They're all on Disney. I just remembered.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
In Australia, anyway. Then I watched. What else did I watch? I watched a comedy special. This one's just on YouTube, so it's definitely an easy one to watch. It is called Ruben Solo. That's the comedian's name.
Ah, yes.
And the show name is specifically called Feedback Loop. And this is officially the most creative stand-up special I've ever seen. Though saying stand-up special isn't really giving it enough like credit. It's really more of a performance or something. It's like an art piece, but it's very silly and very ironic, and it knows exactly what it's doing. It's like a deconstruction of stand-up comedy, if anything. And I know Pete watched it too, so why don't you say some words?
You recommended it to me, and I thought, I saw some clips of this guy. He's got the one where he's like, you guys like impressions? Well, I'm going to do an impression of me 7 seconds ago. You guys like impressions? Here's an impression of me from 7 seconds ago. And it just goes on forever until he gets like basically they shut the lights off and stuff. It's pretty creative. I couldn't help but think of Bo Burnham. I couldn't help but think of because he's got some easel, some like whiteboard or like drawing pad, giant drawing pad. Dimitri Martin.
Dimitri Martin.
Yeah. I told Jack to look up some Dimitri because he'd never seen his stuff before, but. I thought it was very, very good. I don't think I was nearly as high on it as you were, but I love the fact that he's doing interesting stuff with it.
Yeah, I just thought it was really impressive more than anything. Like, I did find it really funny, but like the sort of timing and everything and like crowd work that he does as well. He literally gets somebody from the crowds. Supposedly, anyway, it might be a fake. We're not exactly sure, but but he gets somebody from the audience, and they essentially run the show for like a few minutes, and like he somehow controls that situation. And I don't know. I just thought it was pretty ingenious.
That part was very creatively written and executed. I have to give that guy a lot of credit. Plus, he's super likable too.
He gives the guy a script, and like so the random audience person is reading off a script and he's reacting to it in real time, but like he acts like he doesn't know what's going on, and like part of the script says show Ruben Solo this part of the script, and it's like what? And so he goes and looks at it and
he goes, oh, that's, and then every time he says something ridiculous he goes, that's not on the script, by the way, even though you know it's on the script.
Of course it is.
That guy did a good job too. When he came out like on stage, like as he was heading the show now, I was like, maybe this guy's a plant. He seems very comfortable on mic.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but the fact that you don't know one way or the other kind of makes it funnier. So like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Moving on, what else did I watch? I watched an Australian movie called The Cost. And this is set about 40 minutes away from where I live, actually, which is very rare for me. And this is basically a pretty standard revenge story. Mm-hmm. It's about the husband and brother of a woman who got killed, tracking down the killer and taking him down like out into the bush to, do whatever they want with him. You can imagine what that involves. But it's very much all about sort of, it's a bit on the nose when it comes to it, but it's all about like what is the cost, I guess, of going after, revenge and being bloodlust and whatnot. It is definitely a story you've seen 1,000 billion times before.
Like
it's executed really well.
Devil was kind of something in that vein.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Oh yeah. And this is streaming on Stan, the Australian service. Stan? Yeah, that's what it's called.
STAN?
Yes.
Is Eminem streaming service, you said?
Yes.
Dear Stan, I'm just writing to
that's the joke, anyway.
Watch this movie, this Australian revenge flick.
Yeah. And lastly, I guess I'll say I also watched Wayne's World for the first time.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah. I
was not nearly as impressed by Wayne's World as most people seem to be.
I'm cutting your mic. Where's the button for that? You're gone.
I feel much the way about Wayne's World as I do Star Wars, I suppose.
I can't believe this.
Wayne's World is irritating.
Schwing? Nothing?
Nothing.
Did you hear the part where they said schwing?
You know what Wayne's World thinks is funny?
What?
Yelling and falling over and yelling and stuff like that. That's what Wayne's World thinks is funny.
It's Mike Myers made his money. He set his table.
That's how he made his way.
Yeah.
I will say there was one very funny part in Wayne's World. Unintentionally funny.
Oh God.
At the start, they're driving in the car and they're listening to Queen.
Yeah.
And they're acting like it's like, oh yeah, whoa, this is like hard rock metal music. Yeah. And it's fucking Queen, dude. It's like rock. It's like soft rock. It's pop rock. And they're acting like it's the most hardcore shit they've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Look, maybe back then it
Jeff,
was.
This is 1992, you have to understand. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I'm looking at this through 2024 eyes for sure.
But was Tia Carrere's band Crucial Taunt? Did they wail? Were they hard?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
His girlfriend's band, Crucial Taunt.
I'm sorry, I forgot that
detail. What he's saying is this is how forgettable this movie is.
Come on.
Yeah.
Who's playing tonight? The Shitty Beatles? They any good? They stink. No, that's the worst joke in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It makes me really sad. It's very sad.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
He's apologizing for not liking something.
People do things just because they're getting paid, and that's just really sad.
I admit the ads that they do. That's good.
That was good.
That part is good.
Good bit. Yeah. Anything else?
Last night I also watched The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh yeah.
The Dracula movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have high expectations for it or anything, but yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a lot more brutal than I was expecting it to be.
Mm-hmm.
They did not hold back with certain things.
Yeah.
I guess I won't say because that's a spoiler, but yeah, man, it was pretty hardcore actually, and I actually watched it with my mom as well.
Oh shit! How'd she like it?
She had to hide her eyes away. She didn't see much of Dracula, I will say.
Really, Mama Fitz was not a fan.
Yeah, she was a little mad at me. Anyway,
you're like, Mom, I didn't make the movie. Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to me now. So I'm going to. I have two streaming picks. One I logged in on my letterbox, which I will read from now.
Oh, hello. Come along, won't you? As Tyler reads his own letterboxed reviews. This is me, myself, and Tyler.
Great, awesome.
All right.
Hit us with it. Hit us with it.
So I watched American Sniper this last week.
Interesting pick.
Gave it 1.5 stars.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
That was strictly for the baby.
So the reason why, well, I'll just get into it right now. This is a right-leaning person's favorite film. It's got guns, the military, and directed by Clint Eastwood. I am not going to say I don't like military-like films. I'm a sucker for American military propaganda, in parentheses. Don't worry, I don't fall for it. However, this movie falls really flat. Bradley Cooper acts like he doesn't want to be on set. The story, based on a quote-unquote true story, could have been much more compelling, but Eastwood somehow made the most interesting story so boring. In fact, it seems like everyone didn't want to be there. All in all, I think this was a movie pandering to the right-wing American rather than focusing on the complicated life of being the deadliest sniper in Navy history. There was some good scenes of tension, but they were very few. I believe Cooper could be a good dramatic actor. He just needs the right script and director. Overall, I grade this movie a D. End of report.
D, huh?
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I just, oh man. So I actually did look up the main character, Chris Kyle, to just see like how embellished the movie was. And it was embellished, but he does have the highest confirmed kill counts in the Navy. So I
didn't know Navy had snipers.
Well, they're
Aren't they in the water?
No, they're SEALs, Navy SEALs. He was a SEAL.
I don't know. I don't know why when I think Navy SEAL, I'm like up close and personal. It makes no sense. I mean, this is on me, not anything else.
But yeah, I mean, like, no, like the fact that the Navy did confirm like he had like the highest kill count in Navy history, but like, you know, he was kind of a piece of shit too. American Sniper, that's streaming. It's streaming on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
We have a lot of American Sniper talk in the chat. Joseph Navarro says he watched it on a plane. Joel Shinneman says he likes American Sniper. And Joe Bridges says, when I saw American Sniper in the theater, when he finally got to the enemy sniper, someone in the audience stood up, pumped his fist, and said, "Fuck yeah, America." Wow.
I could see that happening.
That happens all the time here, Jack, by the way.
That's terrifying.
We're very patriotic over here.
And to be fair, though, Joseph Bridges lives in somewhere in the middle of America. So they're really proud of being an American over there.
Right. So yeah, American Sniper, based on the story of Chris Kyle and his life in the military and in his personal life. I mean, like I wanted to like it, but it was so kind of boring.
I remember liking it well enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I think I liked it okay too. I haven't rewatched it though.
Maybe I was in a mood, but and then I watched another movie recommended by a dear friend of mine. This movie is called. This is 1981's Mommy Dearest.
Wait a second, you got 2 new movies this week?
I do. Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's historic.
I know. This is exciting.
So 1981's Mommy Dearest. This movie, holy shit, it was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. Have you heard of this movie before?
Oh, yeah. Jay-Z sampled the scene where she says,
have not.
"No wire hangers ever."
Oh, wait, he did?
He sampled that in... Pablo, what's the album? This is a more recent album, and it's all about Daddy Dearest. The song's called Daddy Dearest, and it's about him talking to Blue Ivy, his daughter.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, I know a lot about this movie.
Oh, good.
Have
you've seen it though too?
I've never seen the whole thing. I've seen most of it multiple times.
Oh, okay. Well, the relationship between Christina Crawford and her adoptive mother, Joan Crawford, is presented from Christina's view. Unable to bear children, Joan in 1940 was denied children through regular adoption agencies due to her twice divorced status and being a single working woman. Her lover at the time, Metro Goldwyn Mayer lawyer Grev Savitt, was able to... Sorry, I
Is
lost
this from the movie or this like in production?
This is the storyline.
Oh, okay.
Was able to go through a brokerage to adopt a baby girl who would be Christina, the first of Joan's 4 adoptive children. Joan believes that her own difficult upbringing. I think this is wrong because I only saw 2 children in this movie. I don't think there was 4. Anyway, so long story short, it's about this mom who wants a child, gets a child, and then she like kind of uses it like as like a teddy bear sort of thing. And then eventually, you know, the child grows up and becomes, you know, misbehaves because they're human, and she doesn't like it. She just wants like she likes the what I was thinking throughout the whole movie was like she likes the idea of a child, not that she wants to bear the responsibility of raising and nurturing a child. There's this one scene in particular which really made me like squirm in my seat when you were talking about the Jay-Z sample.
Yeah.
That scene is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
It's brutal.
I've seen that scene a number of times.
Yeah, where she just keeps beating her with a hanger, and for her to, when she's grown up, and for her to like still like show affection to her, like was wild to me. But I mean, I guess that's like a statement on like abusive relationships.
It is. It is. You don't get. I mean, when you have like an abusive relationship, whether it's parental or familial or like romantic, it's like the decisions that you make regarding the relationship, staying in, staying out, how you interact with the other person. It's not like you can just turn it on and turn it off and say, oh, I'm just going to leave him. It's because like sometimes, you know, many times people, they're fearing for their life or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it's your mother, what do you do?
I know, because like that's like your only source of...
If you care about them.
Yeah.
What if you want milk?
Yeah. So I guess so.
No, it's I don't.
Well, it's also if you grew up with it, like abuse.
Yeah,
you don't
like
know
that's
any.
normal,
You don't know
maybe.
anything else. Like
yeah. And so
it's fucked up.
This the acting is very well done in this movie though, and when I looked it up for the show, I didn't realize it was released in 1981. I thought it looks a lot older, but I think that's due to like the really good set and costume design, because it's supposed to take place in like the golden era of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting story of like how a woman who can't bear children, who is very vain and narcissistic and borderline sociopathic, like it's kind of like a kid who like wants like a dog, like a puppy, like, oh, I want a puppy. But they just like the idea of owning a puppy, not like
taking care of it, being a good pet owner.
Yeah. And so it was really well portrayed.
Is it a perfect Mother's Day watch?
Oh yeah, I meant to say that like because it was Mother's Day, I wanted to watch something that had to do with mothers. I thought about watching Mother,
yeah,
but
instead you just listened to Mother.
Yes, I did. But I didn't want to.
Psycho?
I didn't.
Yeah, Psycho's a good one.
I was thinking of Psycho as well. But like Mommy Dearest, it was recommended to me, and this person said like this would be a really cool idea because it's Mother's Day weekend. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So
we can reenact some of the scenes later.
I was just trying to look up this movie, but I spelt it the Australian way with a U It's not mom, it's mum.
Well, so here's
mum. I was like, where's the you in Dearest?
I don't know if you can see it here,
No, I
but
can't see
this
anything.
is called Mummy Dearest, as in
Mummy,
like the mummy, Mummy.
Now
Dearest.
that's the parody movie that we've all been waiting for.
Well, so
a 2021 movie that I'm sure is a classic.
Well, so the interesting thing about this is that I was gonna put it on Letterboxd, but I spelt it wrong.
Oh, you also spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I spelt it correctly, but it's spelled MOMMI, and so
that's weird.
And so I was trying to find it. I was like, there's no way Letterboxd doesn't have this movie. So I Googled it, but I was short on time, so I was like, god damn it, I gotta go.
He was watching the movie on the way over here.
That's right. Yeah.
It's actually IE, apparently. Just looked it up now.
What?
Oh shit.
I don't even know anymore.
Chad Wilfong suggests that Mummy Dearest could be the next hip hop witch for the group.
Oh God,
dear God.
Oh God. I still need to check that one out.
lot of
no, you don't.
No, don't do it. A lot of Mommy Dearest talk in the chat. Also, Joe Bridges says it's prime over the top soap opera cinema, which is what I remember about it.
Yes, it is.
She is playing to the back row.
Right.
And then Eric Holmes is in the chat. He says, Mommy Dearest freaked him out as a kid because she was like an evil version of his mom.
What?
Yeah. It's like a character sometimes reminds you of one of your parents.
Oh, okay.
And then if they turn out to be the villain, you're like, oh shit.
Speaking of that, actually, then this is another good Mother's Day movie, Hereditary.
Yeah.
Toni Collette looks a lot like my mum.
Oh, really?
So that movie was so scary to me.
Yeah, that movie.
When she says, "I am your mother," I'm like, "Fuck, she is." Oh, God.
That's so funny. And then we also have Chad Wilfong in the chat. I don't know if I mentioned him, but welcome, Chad.
Yeah,
happy you're here, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
He says you can live the rest of your life without seeing the hip hop witch, and you will be fine.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
But then you don't get to play with all the fun games, the inside jokes. They're already passed. We moved on.
Yeah, I know. That ship has sailed already.
She's coming. She's coming.
The witch. She's coming. Oh no, it's just my mom.
Yeah, and then
the hip hop witch, another mother movie.
Those are the two movies that I watched last week.
Okay.
And Dearest Mommy, you do have to rent. Mommy Dearest, Mommy Dearest, you do have to rent, and it was definitely worth the rent. It's on sale right now to rent too, because I think it's Mother's Day.
So, nice.
So I'm pretty sure it's like $1 off.
Okay, cool. So we'll wrap this thing up. For the people in the YouTube live chat that are still with us, if you want to continue hanging out, we're going to take about a 15-minute break or so before we get to the featured review, which is Mr. and Mrs. Smith from 2005. Tyler's pick, first movie in like 3 fucking months that you've had.
Finally.
on the wheel. It keeps passing you by.
I know.
And Joel says, we already voted Madam Web as the next to Hip Hop Witch.
God damn it.
Which I don't think that's a bad idea.
I don't either. All right.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Jack's a fan. He's a fan. He's the vice president of the Australia Melbourne. You're outside of Victoria, right?
I'm in Victoria.
You're in Victoria? Okay. So he's the vice president of the Victoria chapter of the Madam Web fan club.
That is correct.
Yes. All right. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. And if you want to join us on the Patreon, hit us up at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass to join. $5 gets you on the wheel. We haven't had a Patreon pick in a while.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about doing like a revamp to like how we pick the movies.
Maybe we give them a multiple choice.
Well, I was thinking,
my movie's been in there for fucking ever, dude.
Which one is it? Stanford Prison Experiment?
Stanford Prison Experiment.
I think you're like next on the Patreon list after these two.
Oh, it's no worry. I'm just letting you know. It's been like 6 months or something.
Yeah. That's why I think we should revamp it a little bit, because we have if there's essentially 3 hosts and the Patreon would be like the 4th host.
Yeah.
We have 8 slots. Why don't we just make it? I was thinking like 1 week is my movie, next week is Joseph's movie, next week is yours, and then Patreon. So it's like they're guaranteed to get every 4th episode a Patreon pick or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So anyways, thank you. Oh, 1 second. Let me get to here. Thank you for joining us today as we gab and chatter with special guest Jack Fitzpatrick. His YouTube channel will be links in the show notes. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and follow us on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class and on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class. And leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010.
And since Joseph's not here, I'll just say go visit us on the YouTube channel. It would mean a lot if you watched. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.